Spaghetti here. I just want to inform that I will be working with the fact that you know at least the surface lore of both Undertale and Deltarune. I want to clarify that I don't want to dismiss anyone's theory on anything. I am simply theorizing on my own. Nothing that I say should be taken as concrete proof, and these videos are just for fun. Please take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you have constructive criticism that you want to share, feel free. I'm making this a public video to air others' opinions and theories. I also want to say that this video will have text to read, so I recommend not completely closing it. If a text is on the screen, it will play this sound. Thank you for listening, and let's get back to the video. Bye! Hi again! Before this video starts, I want to thank you all so much for the feedback on my previous video. I gained 100 subscribers in 2 days. Thank you so much for the feedback and the comments, the likes, the subs. I am actually so very grateful for each comment. I read all of them and I try my best to answer to all of them. I am switching to a better program to make the video more pleasing, but my mic will most likely still be bad for a while, so sorry for that. Again, thank you so much, and now let's get back to the topic of this video. Now, everything what I could say here might be interesting or it might be completely stupid, but I'm too far gone to tell. Carol being the candidate for the knight didn't start with chapters 3 and 4. It actually started when she was first mentioned by Noelle. Don't get me wrong, the reasons people thought this were not dumb. In fact, I was a Carol Knight truther when these theories started showing up. First, let's get over why people thought Carol is the knight. Her absence from Deltarune so far. Before chapter 4, Carol was only mentioned by people, never shown. As the mayor, she had access to anywhere. She could have easily made the dark fountains in both the school and the library. One of the main questions of why Carol might have been the knight is why would she create dark fountains? If she knew what they were and what could have happened, especially when Noelle was there, why would she still decide to make them? Why put Noelle and Chris, who she clearly cares for, in such a situation? Well, it's now clear that the knight knows the prophecy. And if we go off the theory that the second girl is Noelle, she might want to fulfill it. That still doesn't really make sense though. But the biggest point of why she might have created the fountains, the dark worlds, is something else. Or rather, someone else. Des, the daughter who mysteriously disappeared and never came back. The daughter she clearly mourns till this day, keeping her room intact just as it was when she disappeared, not wanting Susie to even touch the guitar. Des's guitar. The biggest factor and explanation for Carol Knight theories of why she would possibly try to cause the roaring and create dark fountains is Des. She wants Des back. She may think that bringing the roaring and or making the fountains is some twisted way of bringing back her daughter. If we go to chapter 4, we know that people can be revived in the dark worlds. Gerson is just dust in the light world, but becomes himself, fully sentient and conscious as an old man like him can be, in the dark world. She might want the world to be forever dark so that she can be with her daughter. As when the roaring happens, the world basically becomes a one big dark world, meaning that since Gerson came back to life, Carol keeping the guitar intact may be a bit of a twisted way to bring her back. I don't believe Carol hates her children. I don't think she doesn't like Noelle, despite how many people want to make her out to be. She is not a good parent. She is clearly very neglectful towards Noelle. Her not hating Noelle does not make any of her actions less bad, period. But I think when people say that she can't be searching for death since she doesn't care about her children, which I've only seen a couple people say but still felt odd to me, I just don't believe that that is true. And I think that the motive makes sense. Carol as the knight most likely doesn't want the world to end, but bring her daughter back. She may also won't know the whole prophecy, just like Queen, and most likely King didn't. Now that we discussed most of the important points,
colder when she appeared. Surely, if she was the roaring night, wouldn't we have seen the same/stronger effect in the dark world?
When it clearly did. In Chapter 3, after everyone is gone, the dusty, foggy feel you have when walking through everything is called snow in the files. But maybe it wasn't Carol who just brings cold to where she goes. Maybe it was December, which is almost 100% Dessa's real name, as Tenna mentions her with this name. December, her name, is mostly the host to one holiday. It's the 24th of December for me, for example, but 25th for others. 25, 12, or 1225, aka the code to the bunker. 1225 is definitely the code to the bunker. If we go back to the fog, dusty thing is called snow. Christmas. In every Christmas movie, the roads are filled with snow on Christmas Day, even though it's very different in reality. So, who do I think the knight is? December, holiday. Who, instead of cold, brings snow when she's near. But not in the way you think. No one can hear me, can they? Guess not. To be honest, I'm not even sure I can hear myself. It's so quiet here. And yet, sometimes, I swear I hear something. Something like scratching. What is this place anyway? I always had that nightmare. Walking into the darkness with the light shining from the doorway. Then the door slams behind me and everything goes black. Is that a nightmare? Or was everything else a dream? I can't tell if I'm awake or dreaming. I can't tell if I'm dead or alive. It's just nothing but pitch black silence, except for the noise. The scratching noise I sometimes hear. Most of the fandom agrees this is Des. However, I think it's not Des fully, just her consciousness. The Des Carol is trying to find is in the game's code. She is trying to talk through code. The place that Des had in her nightmares is the bunker. Ever since Alphys moved in, it felt like it was more the bunker keeping something dangerous in there. What is it? Gaster's survey program, maybe? Now, let me present my split death theory. Now, this theory does get pretty dark, so... Des's body is still in the bunker. Is she dead or alive? No idea yet. But I think her body declined a long time ago. But her consciousness is still alive, in the code. That's why she feels dead but alive. Because she feels her body. She thinks, she feels, and she lives. Her soul, her consciousness lives. She slightly feels as her body is dragged around, making dark worlds. By who? Well, I think it's Gaster. However, I have no proof of this yet. I just think that maybe he wants the prophecy to be fulfilled. The DELTARUNE.com site in 2016 had 3 heroes appear to banish the Angel's Heaven written in wingdings 2 years before Deltarune and written in Gaster's font. So Gaster may have written the whole prophecy and wants to see it unfold. He might be taking Des's body. However, I don't think he is physically present, but present in the code. He can influence the files, as we can see in Undertale and ABC 123. That scratching noise? I think it's Gaster moving through the code. He might not know Des is there. Or he does. Maybe he's the one who put her there. Maybe her consciousness being alive but not in her body could be why she didn't turn into dust. Maybe even her consciousness was chopped into 2. One put into the roaring night and the other into the code. Let's look at the knight's appearance. Long, bony mash with horns. It doesn't look human nor monster. Yes, it resembles what Des once was, but also holes in hands. I don't know how Gaster possesses Des, but I think she was maybe put into some sort of survey program where her answers, her real consciousness, got discarded into the code, just like how Deltarune does secretly keep the answers for our vessels. Susie saying the knight is weak in the real world, if true, and if we go off the fact that the knight we fight is Des's body, of course she'd be weak. I mean, she is technically a walking corpse. The knight seems to mostly act on impulse, maybe corrupted by the dark world to the point where there's no return. Maybe the slight consciousness in Des's body could have been at first thinking on their own. However, they were so corrupted by the dark worlds and by Gaster that they just don't think anymore. The reason Chris works with the knight could be because they know it's Des and they're trying to bring her back. Maybe Chris and Carol think that if they help the knight, and therefore help Gaster, Des can be back. Chris was researching the occult with Caddy. They probably wanted to know if someone in Des's state can be saved. Or maybe the knight knows about us, the soul. The knight might not be working with Chris, but with us. However, Chris can interpret it as them working with Chris. Maybe Gaster told the knight about the soul being in Chris. If we are a higher being that Gaster wants to keep, he would most likely tell the knight not to hurt us, not Chris, but us. Carol is also aware of the soul. Maybe Gaster even approached Carol. Maybe she some sort of made like a ritual so that she can bring Des back, but instead he told her about the night and the soul and everything, and it's all becoming a bit too complicated here, and I don't really have answers. Now, do I agree 100% with this theory? No. Deltarune is not finished. As the mystery man himself said, we have reached the halfway mark, but it is not over yet. And this theory is very dark, and I don't know if Toby would really put something like that in the game. I'm more just trying to say why I think that Des's consciousness is in the code while her body is the roaring night. Hi, hello, oh my god, I am writing this without a script, so I just wanted to say that I found out that it's not called snow. What I thought was the snow texture is actually snowy path, and I mistook it as the texture being snow, which I am sorry. I know that it doesn't really make sense that Des would bring snow with her. It was more like a metaphorical thing. So yeah, this is all that I wanted to say, but I still don't think that it like disproves my theory as much. So yeah, thank you. Now, Carol can be the knight. Des can be. Heck, there's even theory it's Rudy. Check it out, by the way. It's really, really cool. But we don't know yet. I may be right and I may be wrong. Can't wait to find out, though. Still, until that, I will continue to make these out-of-pocket theories and video essays because Deltarune Brain Rot is real. I want to thank you all again so much for the support on my last video. I hope it only goes up from here. Thank you for listening to the end. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!